All right, thanks for watching Father-Son Reviews. I'm the father.
And I'm the other son.
And today we're going over episode 5, correct?
Yeah.
All right. The bells. And all the horror that happened and all the deaths.
And there was a lot.
Yeah, okay, well, let's start with Varys. Dude, it seemed to me he was trying to poison Daenerys and kill her.
It's possible, but I think I'm not entirely convinced that he was going to straight up poison her. I think he was more concerned with trying to get the word out that Jon was actually a Targaryen.
Well, that was part of it, but he had a conversation with one of his little birds who worked in the kitchen, and she said that, well, she had tried, but Daenerys hadn't eaten for 3 days, and so he said, okay, well, we'll try again tomorrow.
You see, that's one thing that I didn't catch. That's actually really interesting. I didn't think that... I figured Varys would do anything to save the realm, but I didn't think he'd go as far as assassinating the queen that he's sworn to.
Look, you commit treason and you get caught, you die. And
yeah, that's what happened.
But, you know, hey, he wasn't all screaming or on the floor begging like Littlefinger. He took it like a man.
Yep.
Clegane Bowl.
Yep.
Hound versus the Mountain. That was a pretty damn epic fight.
That was a really awesome fight. I really liked that one.
It was a great fight. Just freaking Mountain wouldn't die.
Yeah. Well, mainly because he was already dead. He kind of Frankensteined on him.
Yeah. I think Mountain went out like a man. It took his, he waited his whole life for that moment. And he knew he was going to have to lay his own life down to get his brother back.
And yeah.
And
well, wait, the Hound? Or the Mountain?
The Hound.
Okay, yeah.
The Hound killed the Mountain.
Yeah, well, you said the Mountain at first, and it kind of confused me.
Whatever.
Oh, well.
Gregor.
Sandor.
Whatever the hell. Kiss my ass. How about that?
Names mixed up all over the place.
So what? They're brothers. Who cares?
Yeah, well.
Anyway, the one we like killed the one we don't like, and it was good. One of my favorite scenes actually was the last scene between Arya and the Hound.
Yeah, that was an excellent scene.
Because she had, of course, been on this mission of revenge for the last several years and has built up everything. All her training, everything has been about killing people like Cersei, and Cersei was the last one on her shit list, basically, or hit list. I thought it was kind of fitting that the Hound shook her out of that.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest gift that he gave to her, was giving her the option to choose a different life.
Yeah, because that's what his whole life has been.
Yeah. For
that moment, and he knew it was going to kill him. He knew he wasn't walking away from that once he got his revenge. And it's trying to tell Arya that, look, you have a life to live still. So once what's left after you after revenge? What's after after you get your vengeance? What then? Is essentially what he's telling her. And he's like, look, in order to really get your vengeance, if you want it so bad, you're going to have to pay the ultimate price for it. And his whole life's been about, everything's been leading him up to that moment to get his revenge. And he just wanted more for Arya than just that.
Yeah,
so
that was honestly the best way they think that they could have wrapped up their arc.
And that was probably the only person that could really wake her up to that. Yeah. Kind of fitting. I guess it's more of a Hollywood type of deal, but I mean, this is what everyone watches. We watch crap from Hollywood, so this is the kind of stuff we like to see. We like, who should kill Euron Greyjoy? I thought Daenerys, but, it was kind of fitting that it was Jaime.
Yeah.
Because, Euron the Creeper, creeping all over his sister.
Yeah, it was I never liked him. And it was fitting that he ended up going out with a smile on his face, as annoying as it was.
Yeah. I'm the man who killed Jaime Lannister. What a punk ass. But in that last dying moment, that's the first time I kind of liked Euron. Just like, man, this dude was just insane. And so, hey, kind of a cool character. So
he was a cool, pretty well written character, as annoying as he was.
As much of an ass as he was.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of gotta give it to him a little bit. From that fight to Jaime and Cersei, which I know we're about to get into Daenerys destroying the city and, oh my God, killing innocent people. But it was so interesting watching the phases of Cersei through that episode.
Yeah.
Like, it started out where she's just, high and mighty.
As she has been for the past season or so.
Thinking that, she's the shit. And then slowly but surely, all the hope erodes.
Yeah.
The Iron Fleet's gone. Everything's gone. Well, all we need is one good shot. Well, Your Grace, all those scorpions are destroyed. We're kind of screwed.
Yeah, you can really see the hope just kind of drain from her eyes, and as soon as she looks out...
The Gold Company gets obliterated quick. All that for nothing.
Yeah, she looks out, and the far side, the wall, it's just burning, and all of her troops have surrendered, and you can see her, she just looks... It's hard to tell at times, she was either, terrified or extremely angry, but probably both.
It's when those bells ring, you can tell she looks down and she knows she lost.
Yeah.
She knows she's lost. She just looks defeated. You can tell there's still anger, some seething going on.
Yeah.
But it's when Daenerys says, screw the bells, and takes off flying and starts torching the city, that she realizes, oh my God, this is going to be so much worse than just having to surrender.
Yeah.
That she's not getting out of this alive. And it's not even that. It's that, it's like at that moment it dawned on her exactly the mistake she made by killing Missandei.
Yeah.
All the way up to that point, you probably could have reasoned with Daenerys. But once she did that and had the smirk and all this crap, it was done. The Red Keep is falling apart around her. And then she is alone in the map room when Jaime finds her. And I just thought it was really fitting that they're down in the basement with the dragon skulls as the Red Keep falls on them. And the Red Keep is the center of all politics in Game of Thrones. And the center of all power.
And that's what kills them.
And that's what kills her. And kills him too, yeah.
And one of the really cool things I noticed is that she wasn't... I don't remember her saying, I don't want to die. She was mainly...
she did. She said, I don't want to die.
Right, but first she said, I want our child to live.
Yeah.
So she was... it was very obvious that her main fear was losing her family, which is the one thing in life that she really, really cared about was her kids and Jaime.
And I watched that end scene again, and there was this whole thing about, Jaime's real hand was shown in there.
Oh, really?
Both hands. But I don't know where anyone gets that, because he has the gold hand when they're embracing and everything caves in on him. So I don't really know where that came from. Yeah,
plus it was on the other side, so the main hand that you were seeing was his left. It was his left hand that they were using.
Yeah, but you saw the gold hand.
You see the gold hand in there?
Yeah.
Okay. It may just been like a trick of the light or something.
It may have been a shot or two that they did screw up, but people need to suck it and just shut up and watch the damn show.
I mean, mistakes happen.
Yeah.
It happens.
Shut up. And now to the main part, the dragon. Let's get to the dragon fun.
Well, before, right.
Because that's the last thing to get to now.
Pretty much. Just the battle itself.
All the other threads have been pretty much wrapped up. Now let's get to what we've been wanting to see, and that's some people getting their ass kicked by a dragon. And Euron's fleet, that sucker coming way out from the sky, sun behind her back, just ingenious.
That was super cool. I think the last thing that was that satisfying, besides the whole Night King thing, was probably when Daenerys just absolutely tore through the Lannister army in season 7.
The Battle of Blackwater Bay, or Blackwater Rush.
Right, the one where they had all the carriages and stuff. Yeah, that was I think the last battle that was that satisfying, aside from Long Night.
Yeah, the interesting thing, a lot of people had some gripes about that, like, oh, I thought these scorpions were just so deadly and all that. Well, they are when you catch them off guard.
Yeah, once
Like Rhaegal was only killed because they didn't see the enemy down there.
And he was also already wounded, so...
Well, yeah, he wasn't 100% yet. But, like I said, they got caught by surprise. Yeah. So that's about the only way you can take out a... You got to have a big weapon like that and catch him by surprise.
Like, even when the Night King took out Viserion, he attacked from the ground, and he was... Viserion was focusing on an entirely other group of White Walkers. And he was still blindsided by the Night King. So, and both times that dragons were killed, they were caught off guard.
And notice the Night King couldn't hit it. He tried several times to take out Drogon and couldn't do it. Because
it seems pretty obvious that Drogon's a lot more...
They're agile. They're fast.
Yeah.
And it really helps to have Daenerys riding Drogon because now you got two sets of eyes because they're kind of psychically linked. Because she's not saying turn left, turn right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, she never speaks except for, telling the dragon to burn the hell out of things.
It looks like pretty much all she has to do is kind of like tug on the scales a little bit, and he just kind of understands.
Or she just looks one way, and that's the way the dragon goes. Looks this way, and it goes that way. Yeah, it's a really cool kind of, like I said, psychic connection they have. And
she might be a warg.
Well, I'm sure there's a little bit of that technology going on.
Could be. Don't know. That might be a theory for another day.
But, there's definitely some kind of connection.
Yeah, there's
it's probably akin to warging, but not just between them, the dragon and her.
Yeah.
The dragon has its own emotions. She has her own emotions.
Yep.
All right, so they both lost a dragon. They both lost Rhaegal, and that's his brother, her child. And plus the pain of losing Missandei like she did and how pissed off she was.
Yeah, Drogon feels that.
Yeah, like I said, they share that connection. So he feels his mother's pain.
Drogon's fury is Daenerys' fury.
They're feeding off each other at this point. And that's why I think once they got going, there was no stopping them. And I don't think it's all Daenerys going insane as far as when the bells, ignoring the bells and start leveling the city and killing everybody. It wasn't her, the Mad Queen. People need to shut up. I can't see them doing a Mad Queen because she's pissed, but she ain't mad.
No,
but like I said, they feed off each other so much, and there's so much rage and fury about the things they've been through together that they just can't stop. Once they get going, they are just so pissed. They got to blow it out. They got to just get it all out.
Yeah, and they did that. I'll say this: I don't think that she's necessarily like crazy for doing it. It was a crazy decision, but I don't think necessarily that she is crazy. I think it's more just that she's furious about everything that's happened. Everyone that she knows and cares about has either, for the most part, have either failed her, left her, or died. And finally, it's boiled over. And she just decides, screw it, take out the entire town. So it makes sense, even though I'm still irritated about it.
Yeah, I was, at first when I saw that, I'm like, dude, are we really going to go down this road? I mean, Daenerys is one of my favorite characters.
It does seem like the fall of her character morally.
Yeah, that's what it kind of, I saw it as, but then I had to go and really think about the entire show and the journey we've been on with Daenerys, and who's been around her. The Unsullied have been around her. They're killers, emotionless, machine-like killers. They're like Terminators. That's just the way they're raised and built, with their privates chopped off, so there's nothing to get in their way of the killing.
That's to the point where they don't even feel pain.
No, they don't care. And the Dothraki, they love killing people. That's sport to them. I mean,
it really is.
I mean, how many people died during Daenerys' wedding to Drogo?
I think we only saw like maybe 2, but it goes for like an entire day, and they said it's not a party until like at least 5 people die.
Yeah.
So I'd say I think a safe bet is like
that's
7
to
10.
Yeah, that's having fun. That's a wedding reception. People fighting to the death. That's the Dothraki. Okay, so those are 2 main people that she's been around the whole time. And and the Targaryens are notorious for having a horrible temper.
Yeah, that's one way to say it. Yeah.
The one thing I will say about Daenerys throughout the whole show, and me and you were talking about this the other day, and she's always prone to do the violent thing or the brutal thing first.
That's always her first reaction.
It's always just like, you know what, let's just kill all the masters, and it's always. But she is willing to listen, whether it was Jorah or Tyrion, her advisors around her that say, you know what, calm down for a minute. There's probably a different way we can go here.
A lot of times it does take some convincing, but
it doesn't take a ton.
No,
she's willing to listen.
Usually not a lot. Every now and then there'll be like a few points where it'll be like, you really need to calm down. But usually it doesn't take that much convincing. It usually just be like, hey, let's do this instead, and she's usually cool with it, and the violence is a fallback.
Yeah, I mean, when she first came to Westeros, the first thing she was wanting to do was go straight to King's Landing and take it out. Yep. Which, then she had 3 dragons. You talk about, and there was no scorpions. Super easy job.
If there were scorpions, there were only a few.
Yeah, well, I don't even think there were that. There was like that one on a wagon.
Yeah,
that
right.
was it.
Yeah, you're right. And that one
was smaller.
That one was tiny, and it was
a prototype.
It was like a pinprick to Drogon.
Yeah,
she
it
just took
much.
It out, and then Drogon just tail whipped it and destroyed it, which was really cool.
Well, like I said, it was smaller. It was Clyburn. That's a dude's name.
Oh yeah.
The Meister. Maester.
Yeah.
Clyburn. Anyway.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, he wanted to go in right up front with the dragons and just take King's Landing, and Tyrion talked her out of it, which now we know was a huge mistake.
Yeah, because it was going to happen anyway. So.
Yeah, but she wasn't going to burn the town down.
I think that's exactly what she was going to do.
No, not at first. She could have went in there with the dragons at first and had Cersei surrender, like what happened in this episode with one dragon. And that's before any Golden Company or anything else. So she could have took the town then. Of course, there would have been some collateral damage, but not a ton. Not like there was this time. So I mean, I guess you could no. She wasn't going to burn it down.
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, that's. I feel like yes, you're absolutely right because.
But she
a lot of her other fury.
She decided to listen to Tyrion because she was going to try to cut out any kind of collateral damage and just say, okay, your army meets my army in the field, and then they'll do their thing, and we'll leave the civilians out of it. But that was never going to work, not with Cersei. No. Because she's too arrogant and too insane herself, basically.
Besides killing Missandei, that was a huge mistake.
Well, but it was that kind of crap that escalated everything. Yeah. And, there's always a point where usually people just underestimate Daenerys, and I think, of course, one more time, Cersei was guilty of that. But I think it was more than that. It was not just that. It was saying, well, you have a dragon, but we know you lost 2, so it's not a big threat. Well, number one, Drogon's the bigger.
He's the strongest, the fastest, the biggest, and the one that's in the most direct command because Daenerys rides him. So.
And unfortunately, and this is something Cersei had said earlier in the series that whenever a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin to see what kind of ruler or how ruthless or honorable they're going to be.
That is actually like that's like the
that's a reoccurring theme.
That's the pinnacle of Jon and Daenerys. They are like 2 different sides of a coin, really.
Yeah, and of course, this leads us to, of course, Jon is horrified at everything he sees, but at this point, I don't know what the hell they're going to do because he can't take the throne. There's a ton of problems because his claim to the throne is being a Targaryen, right?
Yeah.
The last male heir.
That's his only. Well, that's honestly the strongest claim.
What is the Targaryen name now after Cersei's done that?
It's
Is anyone going to love and trust Jon,
it's
a
kind of
Targaryen?
tainted. It's tainted, definitely. And to everyone else, he's just a bastard.
Because he would. Well, no. If the truth's out now because of Varys.
Yeah.
So everyone knows he's Aegon Targaryen, not Jon Snow, a simple bastard from the north. No, he is now Aegon Targaryen. Everyone knows it, and now they saw what Daenerys did. And that's going to get around real quick.
What wasn't already killed by the Mad King is now certainly dead and beaten into the ground by Daenerys.
And everyone's fears about Targaryens have now come true.
Yep.
So...
them being vicious, ruthless conquerors, yeah.
Yeah, so how could Jon take the throne now? Who's, because before it's like, oh, well, everyone loves you, Jon, but they don't love me, they fear me. Well, now, no one's going to love Jon now. They would love Jon, but... it's not Jon. It's Aegon Targaryen.
You only have
the name's been kind of muddied now.
You have to know Jon in order to love him.
But you can't expect a whole kingdom to know Jon.
Whenever they hear
and Jon can't be king. Only Aegon can be king.
Yeah,
so he would have to drop the Jon Snow shit.
Exactly. And they'll only hear Targaryen, and they'll only think fire, run,
fire. Blood and fire.
Yeah.
And that's their Stark. Their saying is winter is coming. Targaryens, blood and fire. Well, that's what you got. Now, a lot of people still feel that Daenerys is going to be killed, and there's just no way around it. How the hell you do it?
Narratively speaking, I think that's where they're going. I don't know how it will happen if it does.
Because anyone that kills Daenerys is dead.
It'll have to be something that we just don't see, that we just haven't seen.
So a lot of people feel that Arya is going to kill her. She's going to cut someone's face off, wear the face, and sneak up on her and kill her.
That's one way that I see could happen, but I think that's pretty unlikely at this point because she's kind of given up on the whole revenge thing. So
yeah, that would kind of go against it, but let's just say she did it. All right. Yeah. So in order to escape, now she has to cut Daenerys' face off and become Daenerys, right? In order to escape and not die.
Yeah, pretty much.
The problem is, she could fool everybody but the dragon.
Yeah, Drogon would
he'd sniff her out and you're dead.
Yeah.
Well, if you're my mother, dragon fire won't hurt you.
Yeah, not exactly how it works. No.
And Jon can't kill her because, like I said, he gets killed right away.
It's a suicide mission.
The only way I could see her actually dying is no one actually killing her. But what if, like I told you before, what if she's pregnant with Jon's kid? And then towards the end of the episode, they do a time jump, and then she dies during childbirth. And then Jon can now assume the throne.
I still don't think
that makes sense.
That does make sense, but I still think that it probably isn't going to happen because that her having a kid seems to be all but a dream at this point because...
Well, we don't know that.
Well, I know, but like she was... we don't know that for sure, but it seems like anytime she's ever... Like, the one time where she actually did give birth, it didn't happen.
Well, because of the witch thing.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a nail in the coffin saying that she's never going to be able to have kids.
Well, that's the misdirect they're feeding you.
Could be.
You've been misdirected so many times.
It seems a little less as a misdirect and more as just, like, taking back what they said.
Well, they can... do that.
Which is something that they can do, but it's just
maybe there's maybe no, it's like what they said before, like when her and Jon first hooked up. It's like, well, who told you that? Well, this witch. You're like, well, you're listening to a witch. She's probably lying to you.
So that's one possibility that I can see. Another one that we were discussing is that Jon just decides to give up on the South, screw Daenerys. I'm gonna go north and just live out my life there.
Yeah, he could very well do that.
That's one possibility that I can see. Either him being like Warden of the North or him just going with the Wildlings is another possibility.
And there's a lot of people saying, well, something's got to happen because she can just fly north and kill Sansa because she knows Sansa betrayed everything. Well, this is where it boils down to. And because she knew if Jon opened his mouth that everybody would know.
Yeah.
And
I don't think
that's why she begged him not to say anything.
I don't think at this point that she's going to execute Jon because if she was going to, it would have probably already happened.
At this point, I don't really blame Sansa.
No.
I do blame her for, just wench, can't you, keep a damn secret for, more than a day? God. But Jon didn't have to tell them anything. Jon didn't have to say, he's the one that opened his damn mouth. I mean, when your sisters are just harassing you like that, tell them to shut up. Just, back off. I don't know.
I understand him wanting to share it with
he didn't
his
have
family.
to tell Daenerys.
No.
Did you realize that? He could have shut his mouth through the whole damn thing.
He's not one to keep secrets.
Well, all this crap that's going on, you could blame Jon. All right, that's the Ned Stark in him. You can't shut your mouth.
That's one of the things that we really like about him, though, is that he's not one to conspire. He's not one to betray.
Look, if she
not one
asked,
to keep secrets.
If she asked, "Hey, are you my nephew?" then I don't blame him for saying, yeah, I am.
It also,
but you don't have to say anything to anybody. You never did. Sam.
It definitely complicates things, but I think it was.
He complicated everything.
Yeah.
He could have just shut his damn hole. He didn't even have to. After that, he could have been eked out by his aunt, and could have just broke it off and didn't have to say why.
That would have made her real suspicious, though.
It doesn't matter. He could have just said, "You know what? This isn't going to work. It was fun while it lasted, darling." And it wouldn't have. Things would. I'm sorry. It's all Jon's fault. As much as everybody likes Jon, I like Jon. But
if you really want to go to the root of the problem, then it was Sam and Bran's fault.
That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, why the hell they got to tell him? Well, for whatever reason, the three-eyed raven just said he's got to know. Okay, he's got to know. But it's like, at that point, Jon needs to shut his damn trap. Keep your mouth shut. Fine, if you got to be truthful with Daenerys because you love her, fine. But shut up. You don't got to tell your sisters. You ain't got... Guy's an idiot. I feel like he's an idiot.
He's
naive. He's a dumbass.
He's definitely
naive. No, it's not naivete.
It's
stupid. Naive. He's stupid.
He's dumb. He definitely put way too much faith in Sansa. So
he screwed up everything.
That was definitely a mistake trusting her.
You remember last season they show the White Walker to Cersei, and all he had to do was lie, and he screwed that up. Saying, "Oh yeah, I'll stay out of the war." Just cross your fingers, dude. Couldn't even do that. Screwed that whole thing up. I don't know.
Even if he did,
Jon's an idiot. He's been an idiot.
He
deserves to get killed by his own guys.
He's honor-bound to a fault.
He deserves to get killed by his own guys.
I don't think that.
He screwed this whole show up.
He's a good person.
He screwed this whole thing up.
He's made decisions that are certainly
If you want to blame anybody, blame Jon Snow.
Honestly, I don't think even...
He really does know nothing.
Honestly, even if he did go through with Cersei's demands, I still think Cersei would not have...
Maybe not, but probably. At least, but he's the one that screwed that whole thing up. Like I said.
Yeah, but that's how Jon is. He's honor bound sometimes to a fault. He makes
telling his sisters has nothing to do with honor. Telling his sisters has nothing to do with honor.
His sisters
it's information. Information is power. They don't deserve anything.
They do.
He didn't have to tell them that.
That's his only family that exists, and telling him that.
What was the point of that? I'll tell you what the point was. They were getting on him about whatever, about Daenerys and about this and that. So then he's like, "Okay, back off me because this is why." It was a pansy-ass move. He should have just bowed up to his sisters and told them to shut up. Instead of, don't blame me. This is just, go ahead and tell him, Bran, because I don't even have the balls to tell him. I'm going to let a crippled boy do it. Jon's disappointing. He's just disappointing.
I still really like Jon.
You know where he's good? He's good in the north. And I don't mean Winterfell. He's good north of the wall. Up there... hanging out with Tormund, running around with Ghost. That's what he needs to be doing.
You just like Ghost way too much.
I like him better than Jon.
Wow.
Damn.
I love Jon. He's like my favorite
I don't
character.
anymore. He's not my favorite character.
He's absolutely my
favorite. He's a dumbass.
Tormund's by
he's
far.
He's
dumbass. Tormund's very, very high up there.
I'm sorry, y'all. Jon Snow is a dumbass.
I still love Jon.
The little chick in the cave was right. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Well, no, he doesn't know anything, unfortunately. And he screws everything up. Like I said, His best stuff is north of the wall. Since he's come south, nothing but dumbassery. Nothing but dumbassery.
That's mainly the Starks to a T. Like, Sansa's the only one that really has any hope of surviving in the south. And even then, she had to escape.
I'm saying Winterfell, the south. I'm talking about the real north, what the wildlings call the real north.
Yeah.
That's where Jon Snow excels. That's where I really like him. And I hope in the last episode, he takes his ass back on up there. Get out of there. Damn.
We really just have to wait and see.
He's the most frustrating character, dude. He's the most frustrating character.
A lot of his decisions are very, very frustrating, but it makes sense for his character.
To be a dumbass?
He's naive. He's very naive.
I don't know.
He's naive. He puts too much trust in people, but that's also one of the things that makes him that makes
a
him
dumbass.
Who he is that he.
It's what a dumbass.
He trusts people too easily.
It's what makes him stupid.
He's very honor bound to a fault.
Stop with the honor bound.
What? That's what he is.
Look. He's an honorable person. There's no doubt. But it wasn't like duty or honor that made him tell his sisters his secrets.
It was duty to his family, yeah.
It was not duty. He did not have... It was not hurting them for them not to know. They didn't have to know. Even Bran said, it's up to you.
He hates secrets. He absolutely hates secrets. He's never liked secrets.
Well, then his whole life was a secret.
Well, until he didn't know about it, though.
His whole life was a secret.
As soon as he finds out, he decides... He needs
should
to
have
tell
stayed
the
that
people
way.
that he needs to tell the people that deserve to know.
Like I said, out of all the characters in Game of Thrones, he's the most frustrating to me. Because Daenerys, as murderous as she was in the last episode, that is part of her character. It's part of who she is.
Yep.
If you're going to do, she's a person, and look, I'm not she's probably quicker to anger than I am, obviously, but I'm not very quick to anger, but when I get to a point, I'm going to just rumble through and just start destroying shit. That's how
confirm.
We have a shed out back with a lot of dents going up.
Makes it a little bit irritating to put it up the second time around, but you know.
Well, that's my point. So I get her character. I was raised by a guy like that. I'm kind of like that. Like I said, it takes a little bit more to get me pissed than her. But she's went through a lot, and people have put crap on her and betrayed her and screwed her around. So she's done, and I don't blame her a damn bit. And the show, she still deserves to live and have that damn throne. And I hope that's the way it plays out.
I'll say she probably doesn't deserve the throne.
Because if Jon gets the throne, he'll screw it up.
Very well.
He's a jackass. He'll screw it up, and he'll probably get killed by some other asshole anyway. Some Littlefinger guy will come around and chop his head off eventually anyway, because he's too stupid to see that person coming. But he thought he was my friend. He looked friendly. God. Jon's a retard.
All right, you want to wrap this thing up? Before you rip Jon a new bundle.
I've already did.
You've ripped him
I'm kind of done with him, dude.
You've ripped him one. He doesn't need 3, okay?
Well, he can have 4. Like I said, I'm just done with Jon Snow. I hope Daenerys wins the whole damn thing and they don't do the obvious thing and kill her off. That would be such lazy shit at this point. Of course, they might say, well, look, it was inevitable. No, it's not inevitable, but who knows? Whatever.
Okay, quit ranting. Let's wrap up. Come on.
Shut up.
You're ranting.
God, maybe I'll do a freaking video with the dog. Anyway, thanks for watching Father-Son Reviews. Bye.